Wait, we are finally
we're
getting to
here
it right now. I got on the soapbox for you, Stalling, for this.
No, I appreciate it. We needed it because we needed to kill like 20 minutes there. Officially now, we're getting the bracket right now. Oregon, number 1, no surprise there. Georgia, number 2, no surprise there. So nothing surprising there. Pretty easy. Chalk right there for 1-2.
As it should be, yep.
3-4, here's the interesting conversation. Do they put Arizona State above Boise State, or do they keep the Broncos as the number 3 team over Arizona State?
Dominant win for Arizona State,
and now they're stalling again. They're stalling.
Well,
now I love, dude. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what people are waiting to
live
see.
TV, we're having fun today.
They're like, hey, let's get rid of the first 2. Everyone knows what's going to happen. All right, cool. We're good with that. All right, let's go.
Boy, am I glad we got to sleep in a little bit. I'll tell you that. Man, 10:30 show saved my life today.
If we had to do a 9 a.m. show, we'd be stalling for 2.5 hours. We'd be stalling.
Oh, not just that. I don't know if I would have made it.
I think we would have.
We got home at 2:30.
We would have stopped the show and then restarted a new show to do the playoff reaction. We would have taken a break for 2 hours and then come back. But we're still waiting. We're still waiting on the number 3 and number 4 right now. They're still comparing Boise State, Arizona State, and Clemson because theoretically those are the 3 reallys between Boise State and Arizona State.
The show that they make out of this.
That's it. They know it. They know it.
They're big on suspense over there at the network, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, just recap what we know so far: Oregon's number 1, Georgia's number 2, Boise State's number 3.
They did put Boise number 3. Okay, it is what it is. And honestly, I think considering the matchups, I don't know that it matters. The difference between 3 and 4, I don't think matters a whole lot. And part of the reason too, it's a very even field. It is. Yeah. I mean, okay, if you sit there and you go, would you rather play Texas or Ohio State or Notre Dame? I go, they're all pretty darn good. So what's the difference? And then the only difference there would be, okay, if you get a 6-11 and we're getting Ohio State versus Clemson, let's say, even then, if the underdog wins in Clemson, because they would be, but you still have to play Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not – so, maybe it's just not as big a deal and they're just going to chalk it up, and there's Arizona State at 4 right there, well-deserved. I mean, again, the year – we talked all year about Curt Cignetti. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be some voters associated with the Big 12 and out west that say, you know what, maybe Kenny Dillingham's the coach of the year. You could even argue maybe it's a coin flip. And again, Cignetti did a great job. But now with the way the Sun Devils finished their season with a conference title when they were picked last, I don't think Indiana was picked last in the Big 10.
No, they weren't.
No, and I mean, we talked about their schedule. Like, we talked about Indiana in the preseason as there was some potential. I think I had them when I did my projection. I was like, I think this team could go 8-4. I didn't think 11-1 was on the table. And I was like, they're going to make a bowl game. They're going to win a bowl game. And now they're getting even better than that, and they're going to be in this field somewhere here. But Arizona State, just an incredible job.
Yeah, so just
getting this far.
Just to recap, the teams that will be getting a first-round bye in the college football playoff: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State. So Clemson will be playing a first-round playoff game, even though they won the ACC. So those are the 4 that we got right now. Now we're the fun stars. Now we figure out what are the seeding. Do they put in SMU? Do they put in Alabama? How do they order 5 through 8? This is where it gets really fun, because I think we kind of had a feeling these were the 4 that would get the conference bye. We didn't think, or the first round bye, we didn't think Clemson would jump all the way at 10-3 to get it. Clemson getting the 12th seed.
So this is interesting also. I want to point something out. So obviously they're the 4th seed. Arizona State is the number 12 team.
Yeah.
Okay, which means, I think if my math is right here, and Boise State's at 9, so they're already included. If SMU is left out, they will have dropped them all the way to number 13.
Yeah.
And Bama will be 11 here. Did that loss last night really justify dropping them from 8 to 13?
So they kept SMU above Clemson if they keep him in.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
On the entire resume, I don't hate it. And this was kind of my argument with South Carolina and Alabama when we were having that argument with the head-to-head was, it's not like they got blown out. They lost that game by 2 points. All right, first round.
Clemson, Texas.
Clemson at Texas.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Clemson at Texas. Winner plays Arizona State.
Dabo versus
So they kept Texas at number 5, even though they lost the backup quarterback. I don't necessarily hate that.
And I'll tell you what. The way Clemson's defense has kind of picked things up the last 4 weeks. Remember, I just mentioned moving Peter Woods back inside.
And listen, Kelvin Mix Jr., if he's still out,
problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, we got a couple weeks before that. And you know what? A Clemson defense, a Dabo with some time to prepare, a Quinn Ewers the way he's playing, might have a lot better game. And your favorite thing, 2 5-star quarterbacks.
That's right.
Of course.
That's true.
Your favorite thing ever, you get Cade versus Quinn in that game. But no, I mean, I think the more I think about that matchup, that's a really good football game.
I'm
Clemson's
excited.
Defense that's really going to come down to which quarterback can be make more consistent positive plays, and I think it's a lot closer than we think it is.
So just to recap again, Clemson, the first round game we know, Clemson at Texas. The winner plays Arizona State in the quarterfinal.
That's fun.
That's a fun game.
That's a whole lot of fun. Here we go.
Penn State and Indy Lions are the 6th seed, so they kept them above Ohio State, even though Ohio State has the head-to-head, and they kept Penn State above Notre Dame at 11-1.
Yeah, well, and I think when you look at, again, the losses by a touchdown, you mentioned this, to Ohio State and Oregon, and are you going to punish Penn State for playing on conference title weekend?
Yeah.
Is that fair? Especially when they played a really good game against Oregon.
Yeah.
And Drew Allen
best
looked
team in the
away
country.
against the best team in the country. I could totally justify this. I have no issue with this whatsoever.
So just for recap, so Penn State number 6, who's the 11th seed now? Is it SMU? Is it SMU or is it Alabama? We find out right now who is making the college football playoff.
It should be SMU.
So the winner plays Boise State in the quarterfinal, but this is the big question right now. All right, they gave it a they're skipping. They're skipping. They know what they're doing.
The TV.
They know.
The network knows. They know.
I love that.
Oh man, the network. That was
when I saw a
hurt.
team flash on the screen. I was like, oh, here we go. And there was Notre Dame. I was like, wait, Notre Dame's the 11? I was like, wait,
Penn State's going to be the last team to see their opponent. Which hold up now. Notre Dame's at 7.
Yeah.
If Indiana's number 10,
woo, we got a battle for Indiana.
We're getting an in-state. We're getting maybe the biggest game other than any Colts game in the history of the state of Indiana.
So now we know Notre Dame is a 7 seed. So they are hosting a game, and the winner of that game plays Georgia in the second round. So we'll see who Notre Dame plays. Maybe they'll skip again and go to the 8 seed.
Okay, so now you mentioned about who might want to play against Georgia. Notre Dame and their defense, if they're playing Georgia with a backup quarterback, oh boy.
There you go. Ohio State's the 8th seed. Ohio State is hosting the first round playoff game.
We might be going to 2 games.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
And we got to find out what day they are. But Ohio State's hosting, I would imagine. So Ohio State, Dalton, if they win, they play Oregon in a rematch. And it was maybe the game of the year.
And I'll tell you something first, though. If we think the 9 is Tennessee,
they got to get through that
that's
first.
A serious problem, I think, for Ohio State. That could be a major problem with Ohio State's offensive line and where that could go. If we think it's going to be Ohio State, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Indiana, and then we're getting down to whoever the 11 is here, which I still believe should be SMU. I'm
a little scared now. Now I'm a little scared because I really thought they're going to keep SMU below Clemson.
Yeah, but to drop SMU.
No, I understand.
Clemson in the rankings, you see here, is number 16.
Yeah.
You can't drop SMU below Clemson unless you made them 17 in the rankings. Which would be
absurd.
Which would be absurd. So it's really now about, they went with the entirety of the resume. It also makes me think, because they didn't move Clemson up that much in the rankings. What did they come into that game? 20? There's Ohio State, Tennessee right there.
Yeah, Ohio State, Tennessee to play Oregon in the second round. So 2 games we know. Clemson at Texas, Tennessee at Ohio State. Those are the 2 first-round games that we know right now.
One thing to note there also, and this is where the seeding and the conference title thing gets kind of weird, is so Ohio State and Tennessee are 8-9 in the seeding, but they're 6-7 in the rankings.
Yeah.
So you're sitting here talking about that's actually the most heavyweight matchup of this first round, and somewhere where both of those teams are going to, after the season, I'm sure they're going to complain and go, well, we had to play each other, and we were actually 6 and 7.
And then whoever wins that plays Oregon.
And then we had to play the number 1. If there's any 2 teams that are going to question the structural integrity of how this is done, it's going to be Ohio State and Tennessee, because immediately Texas Clemson, great game. If we get Notre Dame, Indiana, great game. Ohio State, Tennessee is the premier game of these first 4. Yeah, I think it's a toss-up game the way Ohio State's offensive line has been playing, and I'll tell you what, Nico as a redshirt freshman having to go into Columbus and play in that environment. We're going to that. Oh, of course we're going to that. Eli's going to that.
Oh, we got to make Eli come with us.
We don't have him mic'd up today, but I am sure we're going. There's our buddy Mitch too talking about. We're going to Ohio State, Tennessee for sure.
Just to recap again: Clemson at Texas, winner plays Arizona State. Tennessee at Ohio State, winner plays Oregon. Now we got to figure out who plays Penn State in the first round and who plays Notre Dame in the first round. Indiana, Notre Dame.
Oh,
we got the battle for Indiana.
Please let it be on a Friday.
Indiana.
I'll go to that.
And we make the trip.
And I'll tell you something. I don't think Indiana's defense played that bad against Ohio State. Their offense put them in bad spots. Their defense was spectacular against Michigan when we went and saw that game. Indiana's run defense against Riley Leonard and Jeremiah Love and the rushing offense of Notre Dame, prime time.
Yep.
Absolutely love it.
So Indiana at Notre Dame, winner plays Georgia. Now we find out the final team. Will it be Alabama at Penn State, or will it be SMU at Penn State with the winner playing Boise State? This is what we find out right now. This is the biggest question going in.
Getting a Penn State night game or what?
Might be. Yeah, it might be. So we'll see. Now that here we go. They're comparing the resumes again. So again, the biggest question now is, will it be 9-3 Alabama, or will it be 11-2 SMU, who just lost the ACC title game? Which one will they put in between those two schools?
It would feel weird if they dropped SMU all the way to 13th in the rankings with Clemson. Well, or with Alabama, they came in sitting at, 12?
Yeah,
in the rankings originally. Boy, I mean, they're just going to make us stare at this bracket for as long as possible.
Yeah.
We got NFL Sunday to get to. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on, network.
We got 25 minutes till NFL Sunday.
I
but
know.
SMU.
Eli's got the Bengals tomorrow. He'll be
right.
okay. And I'm not. I'll watch the Jets on all 22.
All right, so final one, we got to figure out who is playing Penn State at Happy Valley with a winner taking on Boise State. Will it be Alabama, or will it be SMU?
Well, if you're Penn State, do you have a preference?
I'd rather play SMU. I'd rather play SMU than Alabama. I think there's a ceiling there with Alabama that I'm a little afraid of. So I would rather personally play
the Jalen Milroe factor.
That's exactly
essentially what it is.
Yeah,
boy. Oh
but
boy. I mean,
that doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter who you want to play. It matters who deserves to be there.
Tell you what, though, the way Drew Aller played last night, and I'll tell you what, the winner of this game, it is
SMU.
SMU. They only dropped them to 10 in the rankings, the 11th seed, and I was just going to say the winner of that game is the team that gets to play Boise State. How about that, wouldn't it? If it were Penn State, real hypothetical, real quick, not counting out SMU, but you get your Penn State Nittany Lions against Ashton Ginty.
Oh, yeah.
PFF alum Ashton Ginty. Man, oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
But Penn State, SMU, they left SMU in, and look, we have to assume it is the effort and the way they came back, tied the game in the final 20 seconds. Kevin Jennings, I think that saved their season.
Yep.
Had they rolled over after an awful first quarter and lost to Clemson 42-14, I don't think they'd be sitting in this spot. But SMU playing against Clemson in Charlotte in essentially something close to a road environment in the ACC title game in their first year in the ACC. And I'll tell you what, a little retribution here for the ACC after getting shafted to me on the Florida State game.
They got shafted. Yeah.
2 teams in.
Yeah.
2 teams in. The Big 12 ends up with 1. Notre Dame obviously gets a spot. And 2 teams in from the ACC, and I think both well-deserved. Clemson, they earned it. They got a little lucky. Did you see Dabo giving credit again to Fran Brown last night after the game? Of course, Fran Brown and Syracuse, you messed up the whole playoff bracket.
We did.
You did. Your Syracuse Orange messed up the entire playoff bracket.
Our Syracuse
If
Orange.
Alabama has anyone to blame, it is Kyle McCord and the Syracuse Orange.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, yeah, just recap again. Number 1 is Oregon. They will be playing the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State in the 8-9 game. Number 2 is Georgia. They're playing the winner of Notre Dame and Indiana in the 7-10 game. Number 3, Boise State. They're playing the winner of number 6, Penn State, and number 11, SMU. And number 4 is Arizona State playing the winner of Texas and Clemson, meaning Alabama is left out of the college football playoff. Many thought they shouldn't have been in last year, and now they get left out this year in the college football playoff with a 9-3 record.
It comes down to the losses. It does. It's the losses to Vandy, and especially I think you could get over the loss to Vandy. It's the way they lost to
Oklahoma one.
If they had lost to Oklahoma on something fluky, 24-21, some weirdness, something happened there. It was their worst game they played in 20 years.
Yeah.
And I think you have to sit there and go, Alabama lost 2 very winnable games. And I know Vandy and Diego Pavia were resurgent this year also. They had a good season by their standards, but that's still a 6-6 team with not a whole lot in the trenches.
Yeah.
And for parts of that game, Bama was dominated, and they were dominated for the entirety of the Oklahoma game. And the high and low nature of Bama is what really that's what did them in. Because I won't deny the ceiling. They're Alabama, right? And Jalen Milroe on his best day is a top 5 quarterback. But the floor of what they looked like at times, I even go back to early in the 4th quarter of a game against USF when it was a 2-point game. There's just too many times at Alabama where the floor was too low, and I know the metrics and the SEC stuff, but I think they got it right with SMU at 11.
Yep. So that's what we got for our reaction. We now know the official 12-team college football playoff bracket. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.